Hello and welcome to Blender and how to UV map. This will help you with FPS Creator, with any games package really. Unity, Dart Basic, AGK, anything that can use 3D models, it's going to be fine. Right, we've got the basic test scene that you load up with. I've not changed anything. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm just going to UV map this little square. So I don't really care about the position. I'm going to put it on top anyway. It's not the best way of doing it. This is a bit inaccurate. Oh well, that'll do. Right, so first of all you need to UV map this. How we do that is we'll open, if you see these little lines in this corner, not the plus, the lines, click on those, drag across, hold the button, the left mouse button while you're doing it. That'll open up another window. You can do that loads of times. You can drag down as well to split many windows. That's part of the just standard UI of Blender. So there we go. We've got two copies of this. Now we want to change this in here, this little picture of a sort of TV box there, and change it to UV image editor. There we go. New image. We'll call it texture, just for the sake of it. It doesn't really matter, but obviously if you want a bigger texture here, if you want, say, 2048, just put that in, 2048. The rest is fine, just click OK, and there we go, we've got a black image there, ready for this to be mapped onto it. Right, now, back in this box, make sure your cursor is in this window and not this window. Press Tab. That'll get you straight into edit mode. You can just use this here, so you can go to object mode, which is what we was in, and edit mode there. But Tab is the keyboard shortcut, and believe me, keyboard shortcuts are brilliant in Blender, and you will be using them a lot if you get into it. So we're in edit mode, and you can select edges, faces, or vertices there with these little boxes. So everything's selected at the minute. The A key is the one that can select all or deselect all, and that again is a useful key to know. So if I just hit A, so it's selecting everything, press U to unwrap. Now there's several options here. Just for the sake of easiness, we're going to go for unwrap. Right, you can see it's made a big square there, and that's basically mapped every one of these faces on this block to just the same area. If you wanted to use one big map, one big image, that'll work fine. You'll have the same image mapped on each side, and it'll look fine, really. For a square, that's fine. But if this wasn't a cube, and it was something a bit more complicated, you'd want to do something a bit different. You'd want to mark out seams and try and texture it properly. So if I just Control Z, that will undo it. It's now not done. Press A, so we're there. Go into Edges, Edge Select. Now we want to think of this as a box that you're mapping one piece of paper around it, like origami, and you've got to sort of wrap the paper around. Obviously if it's one big piece of paper, you're not going to wrap it round without folding or cutting in real life, and it's the same in this. So the easy way, if you see this little icon here, that will turn it transparent. Basically that means you can click through the object and select each edge or vertex, face as you want. It makes it a bit easier, so that's what I'd recommend you go into. And then you've got, this can be awkward, but you've got to try and work out where you would fold or where you would cut the box to make it flat. If you was to cut the paper and fold it around and get the box. So let me see, we're in edge mode, so if you press right mouse button and click the edge, now you hold shift like in many packages, to select more than one. Click that edge as well, and then the top one there, the top one there, that one there, and that one there. Now that is where you will literally be cutting them. So where this is here, it'll cut these out. All the rest of the parts that aren't marked would fold. So imagine that's going to fold down, and that side's going to fold down. So you've got the two sides folding down, that bit in the middle, and then the rest will fold out like that. Apart from the fact I've got to cut one of these edges to make it work. So you've got to think in your mind where you're going to want to do it, and I'm thinking here. So shift and hold that. That means that is going to be cut there, there, around here. This will fold out here and down and across. That one will fold down, blah blah blah. This one will fold out. It's awkward to get into, but basically that's how it works. So if I now, that hasn't marked the seams, by the way. This is just selected the edges ready for marking of the seams. So now all you need to do is go to the side here and select mark seams. If I can find it, mark seam here. Not right click, left click. There we go. That's marked the seam. So now when I press A to select all, U to unwrap, unwrap, hey presto, it's mapped out like a little cut-up box. Now you can see instantly that you could fold that up and that round, and you'd make a box. So that's ready to UV map. Right, well it is UV mapped, but it's black. So at the minute, obviously, if you look at the texture, if you change this to texture, it's just a black box because it's a black texture. Now we could export this to an image and paint on this image, and then that image will appear on this, or we can apply a texture just in Blender, which is the next thing I'm going to show you. If you look here, it's in here, you click that, your material tab, and you can see there's nothing really selected at the moment, or it's just a basic material with nothing on it. Click in textures and you'll see this texture here is the one that's linked to this material. So if we just want to change that texture, all we need to do is go down here and change it to whatever. We can have an image, like I say, if you've drawn it, but we're just going to use a generated texture in this instance. I'm not too good on this, so bear with me if I take a little longer. Type. What do we want? Wood? Try wood. Doesn't look much like wood to me. Yeah, let's try a different one. Yeah, that looks nice and pretty. Okay, that's ready. Now if you look at this, obviously it still looks black because this hasn't been applied to it yet. But if I render it, hey, we've got a pinky bubbly texture. Yay. And that was F12 while I was in this window to render, but you can just go render image and escape to get back to that. So yeah, you can see it's doing it, but it doesn't display it here. You know, it's like, oh, come on, give me the texture. I've put it on. It works when I render, but no. We'll leave it on texture. That's because this is black, and this is what is actually texturing it. When you render it, Blender overrides it with this. So what we need to do, first of all, let's just change that colour a bit. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find bubbly brown. I don't know where we got brown. Cripes, these palettes are all good to get. I could never get a brown. Brown's sort of there, but it's not very dark brown. Right there. Let's just get to that, and then yeah, still not the right colour. That's more like it. That'll do. Yeah. Right, I've just changed the colour, so if I render that again, hopefully now we should have. That's not quite aero. It's not quite that, but you know, it's bubbly, and it's sort of brown. and you can probably mix all sorts with it. I don't play with these textures, like I say, so you know, you have to bear with me on that one. Right, so we've got a texture ready to go, but it's not actually on here. So what you need to do, click back on the main camera tab, and here's a little bake option. Click that, scroll it down a bit, and you've got an option here, full render. Now we could do full render, but that does everything. That does shadows, all sorts. Might be what you want. You might want to fake shadows, so that could be good. But in this case, no, I just want textures. So select textures and just click bake, and you'll see, whoa, bakey bakey, we have arrow everywhere, and it's now appeared here as well, or at least it has on some edges. Tab off. Just because it's dark, that's all. Just because of the light source. I'm quite sure where I've put the light source on this. There it is. If I just select that light source and move it a bit closer, you can see it's all there. It's just in the dark. So yeah, we've got a sort of bubbly thing, and there we go. Simple as that. Then all you have to do is export your objects. So we'll export this, say DirectX, just call it bubble box. There we go, export that, and the image, just export that, so image, save a copy, or save as image, do that, doesn't matter which one really, and we'll call this bubble. It should be a .png automatically. Save. Oops, where have I saved that? Oh, crops, I've saved it straight in my C drive by the looks. Oh well. Yeah, and there we go. And that will now load up into any game package once you've done the various things for each package, and have a nice texture on it. And it's just direct from Blender. So if you want to use your Blender textures, that's how to do it. You may need to play around with some things later on in an image editing package to get transparencies and such, but that is how you do it. So I hope that helped. If it did, leave a like, comment, let me know if it's difficult, if there's parts that you don't understand about at all, then just comment, let me know, and I'll try and answer you as best I can. So yeah, until next time, I'll catch you later.